Joining us here in the Ukraine Today newsroom is Chris Lonus. He is a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Chris, thank you very much for joining us. You're joined by Chief.
Yes.
Black Labrador?
Yes.
As well. How old is the Black Labrador?
3 months old.
3 months,
Yeah.
okay. And you're part of this Canadian-led initiative, Heroes
Yes.
Companion.
Yeah, very much so.
Can you tell me how you firstly got involved in the new project?
Well, initially I got involved with Courageous Companions, which is affiliated to Heroes Companions. And for the last 2 years, I've been one of their main people selecting dogs for the program. So that was going really well. When Kalena got a hold of Courageous Companions and said, listen, I want a partner and some help here, I got a phone call, said, do you want to be part of a 4-man team going to Ukraine? And of course I said yes.
And so you got involved in the project this way, and you've been over here for some weeks now.
Almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks come the 27th.
And you help, you organise therapy dogs for Ukrainian soldiers coming back from the front line.
That's what we initially we were going to do service dogs.
Yep.
But we found because of some of the logistics of not having access to restaurants and theaters and civic areas where people go, it'd be really hard to do the training for a therapy dog. So we looked at the next best step, and the initial step is really good to have a therapy dog. The therapy dogs can help gain access to all the places we need to go and the soldiers need to go. The other nice thing about it is the therapy handlers can go to the hospitals, they can go to the clinics, and they can help with the soldiers opening up for their therapy and with the caregivers. So I think it's a very important part of the whole program, and I think it will make a really big difference here.
Yeah, and you're a dog trainer yourself?
I'm in the RCMP.
Yep.
I've been for 28 years. I've been involved with the dogs for almost 28 years. I've been an actual handler for 18, and I just took a transfer to our training kennels in Alberta, so I'm there working now.
Yeah, so you have a lot of experience, and can you tell me, if you have a dog like Chief, how do you take this dog and train it for somebody who needs it for therapy? So
we take a dog like Chief, and you can see that he's really nice. He's sitting in my arms, one of the major things we need, and already he's done a lot of work with us where we've gone out to the hospital with the soldiers outside, and he'll sit for half an hour or so in arms with no problem. So we do some initial tests. Can we handle the dog? Will the dog nip at us? And then the stuff, you know, just the basic stuff. But with Chief, he's extraordinary, so we want him to be a therapy dog. So we found a really good person to raise him, and to be guidelines. So there's the basis for all the dogs: sit, come, stay. And then we start specializing a bit, because there's soldiers that won't have an arm, won't have legs, will be in a wheelchair, maybe have crutches, maybe have sight problems, may have hearing problems. So then we start getting the dogs so they're able to pick up anything. And since labs have soft mouths, they'll be able to pick up just about anything without causing damage to it.
Yeah.
He'll learn to open up doors, either with pressure, like pads, or using a tug to help at the soldier's house. He'll open up fridges, be able to pick up water bottles, keys, gloves, anything you can think of that soldier may need help with. On top of that, he'll also learn how to do the psychological side of things, how to go to a therapy session, either individual or in group. Learn what kind of reaction the soldier may need for what he's going through. He may be very upset, or he may be very happy, and the dogs will react differently according to what that soldier needs at that time. I think the important thing is these dogs will get them out to do that. The dog has to go for a walk.
Yeah.
The dog, you know, will get them being part of the public again, which is probably the hardest thing for a soldier to do.
And they are companions, because often a lot of soldiers who come back from any war zone, they're very lonely and have some sort of a social isolation, I guess, because they're afraid to talk about mental illness, this sort of thing. So the dog is man's best friend in this case.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And if you see any pictures from the front, there's hundreds of pictures that I've seen already with soldiers with stray dogs.
Yeah, I've seen these dogs and cats as well.
It's a perfect example. They want that animal companion, and I haven't seen a picture yet where there isn't a soldier smiling with a dog.
So what's the yellow? We have the yellow.
So all the dogs that pass that will be out in public. They'll have this handkerchief. I believe that the trainers or the handlers that will be with them, they'll be wearing a yellow shirt with an emblem on them as well. Yeah. So very distinguishable. And that's what's going to define that. And you'll know the difference when you see a dog wearing the handkerchief. That means you can approach it, you can pet it, you can be part of its life, you can interact with it.
Yeah. It's the same with this as well, this orange.
Yeah, the orange vest. Now that's different. That's for the service dogs. Yeah. So when a dog has that on, it's very important that people know that that dog's working. Yeah. He's doing a job. So he's helping that person get through whatever it is he's doing. It could be walking down the street, it could be going shopping, it could be doing any number of things. And it's not to be fed, it's not to be touched, it's not to be approached, it's working. It's doing a specific job to help someone recover and operate in society again.
Because that's one of the big challenges as well, to get people used to the dogs being out. Because in Ukraine, this program is relatively new. I mean, you already have this in Canada and in the US and in Britain as well.
Very much so. And what I've been finding interesting, when we first got here, it was very hard to start. But the nice thing about it, everyone that we approach, and if you approach and ask please and be nice to people and say, hey, this is what we're doing.
And how long will the dogs be with the soldiers once the soldiers take them on? Is it?
It's usually they work until they're 10 years old. The dogs will work until they're 10 years old. And if that time, given how the health of the dog is and stuff, we have people who will adopt dogs in Canada. So that would be another thing that we'd have to work on here. And before the dog is, changed over, we make sure that there's a new dog in place, in training, bonding with the soldier. And so it's not like he loses his best friend and then there's a stale period of time. Yeah. There's going to be a changeover, and of course, when you're connected to the dog that's been helping you for up to 10 years, there's going to be a pretty major bond.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult for the soldier even to let go of the dog after this time.
Well, it's interesting. We have one guy, Dimitri, and the first day he came out, didn't want to be part of it. So.
And I guess during your time in Ukraine, you've had some amazing stories. You haven't been here for that long, for a matter of weeks, but you said before that we started the interview that you've been to the hospitals and you've seen the guys and you see how well these dogs actually work with the soldiers. That's right, isn't it? And we were recently at one of your training sessions, and it was really impressive actually, because we watched the dogs. And we saw how people were interacting, and therefore individuals, aren't they? Because when you train the dogs, they have to be for people with individual problems. It's not just one broad.
Well, what will happen is, for example, you come in and you need a dog that can hear for you, may have to do some touch for you because you don't have hands. Yeah. Well, that dog will have a specific training for that person once it gets to that stage. But all the service dogs will have an awful lot of training into them before they even get to that stage. Yeah. There's a dog being trained right now by one of the trainers for a soldier with 2 legs missing. So that dog's already learning to open up doors, pick up stuff.
Yeah. I see, interesting. And how many dogs in total do you think the program will take on?
Well, we're going to be very cautious kind of thing on the selection of the dogs, because we want really strong dogs and strong people involved. So it'll take a little bit of time to build up. We have one service dog now. Yeah. And we have another dog waiting to pair up with another soldier, and we have 2 more, and he's one of them. So not in the too distant future, we'll have 4, and then it's a matter of finding more. Yeah. We have to find good breeders or good donating people.
What do your friends say in Canada when you say to them that you're going to Ukraine?
Well, they're all following.
Yeah? You have a lot of friends who are following you on social media? Or just...
Very much so. They're waiting to see what's happening next on Facebook or on the other sites that we're posting on. Yeah. So they're pretty excited about it. The only problem we have a little bit of problem with Wi-Fi where we're at. It's a little bit limited. We got to find the spot that works. So it's kind of interesting. interesting, but one of us is always able to get something out and post, and we got a lot of people following it.
And one last question for you. What was your personal inspiration for coming over to Ukraine? Because you've worked with dogs for a long time as well. I see the dog's trying to eat your microphone there.
I just thought the whole thing of expanding this program, you need some good people to come, and I was really happy that I was asked, so it's been really good.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Chris, thank you very much for coming into Ukraine today, and
Thank
Chief
you.
also. Now back to the news.